All right, guys, welcome into the Vitality Advisor. My name is Yao A. Owusu Jr., obviously your resident Vitality Advisor. We have a good one for you today. Check out some of our last posts on mindset. Today, we're going to talk about how we can improve our systems of life. So you want to think about, we have all types of systems. We have your respiratory system, we have your digestive system, we have systems of politics, we have systems of religion, there's systems all over, we have systems of the universe that we have to follow. So how can we upgrade our systems? Now, one of those main things is what we always talk about is being vital, so the vitality training systems. This system is a system that will enhance what you would perceive as human optimization of your genetic potential and human optimization of your human productivity. Now, with those things, we want to think about what you can take from this. Now, my job as an advisor, especially an advisor of wellness or vitality, is to make sure that you guys have the assets that you want to build for your well-being. So just like you have a financial advisor, you have a wellness advisor or a vitality advisor to set assets so you can build for the future. We talked about this in the past. In your 30s, in your 40s, in your 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, every 10 years you have a chance to build up your assets and to drop down your liabilities by staying vital. And that optimization of that vitality is going to be that vitality training system. Now, I know what you're thinking. Genetics, epigenetics, it's really just a modification of a system. So I'm 6 foot tall, dark chocolate, bald head, but how I arrange myself in this sweater, I'm thinking about that. That's epigenetics. I'm changing how I arrange myself and eat to be fit with these shoulders. Okay, the shoulders are starting to come in a little bit. All right, that's epigenetics. So those changes don't change your underlying DNA, but it changes your readout, right? So your RNA, it changes your readout of DNA. We talked about that. Now, this is programming. We talked about programming on mindset. Now, how can you program through the other 4 pillars? Sleep, nutrition, recovery in the physical realm, and exercise. Let's talk about the totality of the entire system to upgrade yourself to be those 2 things. So we always want to increase your human experience through those 2 things of human productivity and optimizing your genetic potential. Now, if this sounds too high level of awareness for you, no problem. We have a lot of content that would meet you at your point of where you are in your journey of wellness or vitality. But I want to take a little bit today for our high performers out there, people that want more out of life, people that just don't want to survive. And when we talk about vitality, it's literally about thriving, right? So we know we go to the doctor, we get our vitals, we have our blood pressure to survive. We want to talk about thriving. Now, that adaptation through epigenetics, through that system that we talked about, the vitality training system, is about thriving. How can you thrive, right? So once you get on your journey and you know you want to accomplish something, so that adaptation to stress is something that you always have to be cognizant about. Mindset training, sleep training, exercise training, nutrition training, recovery training, these 5 pillars that we're talking about is something that we would sit down with you to look at your portfolio of wellness to kind of see exactly where we can fit in assets. You watching this content, subscribing to this content, that's an asset to help elevate your level of vitality, or at least your level of awareness, so you have the opportunity to apply these tactics, then hiding your probability to optimize your vitality. So let's just say we want to make that correlation between financial world or financial advisement or generational wealth. We also have that generational health. Now, how would you do that? This is the basis of my job as an educator to make you more aware of your optimization of vitality, right? And the main thing is, when we talk about that generational health, we do need assets for the future. The generation starts with you. So you yourself have to first make sure you optimize yourself, right? So if you have kids, if you have families, if you have aunts and uncles and grandmothers and grandfathers that you are assisted, and you are the leader in your community, and you want to create generations of health and be the beacon of light in your family, then this information is for you. one thing you want to do is optimize yourself. If you cannot be selfless unless you're a little selfish. You have to selfishly optimize yourself so you can be a better servant or a better service provider to your community. And that's what I want to do as your leader, as the advisor of Vitality, kind of lay out a blueprint, if you will, talking about genetics, a blueprint, if you will, about programming systems. So the system we're talking about today, again, is that epigenetical change, the Vitality Training System, that VTS system. And that's where we look at your portfolio and we see, okay, how is your mindset? Where is that? What are the assets that you're feeding your mindset? What are the things that you're thinking about every day that you're feeding yourself, that mental nutrition? Now, it's very important that we're talking about mindset. You have to be in a great state of mind. How do you get into a great state of mind? You have to work at it. You have to practice it. Now, getting into sleep. Now, this is one thing that on the Vitality Handbook, we'll be going into details, so make sure you check that out. But sleep is very important because there's a lot of functions that you need in different stages of sleep that you're in. Talk about REM sleep, REM, rapid eye movement. Those stages are when you kind of consolidate memory that you've had from that day. Now, when we go into nutrition, which is going to be that third pillar of awareness that you want to invest in, we take a look at your assets to nutrition. Now, this is one thing that most people don't want to be told what to eat. They don't want people to pry on what they're feeding themselves, but you have to remember, you are what you eat. You've heard that adage, what you eat in private, you wear in public, all right? You cannot hide yourself if you don't have a fit body, and that's something you can't pay for. Still to this day, with all the AI we have, you cannot buy a vital body. You can buy pieces, but that's not vital, right? So making yourself from the inside out. Going into that fourth pillar, that fourth kind of asset that we want to look at to optimize your vitality is going to be physical recovery. Now, we separate the two from sleep and physical recovery because sleep is mostly going to be a subconscious or unconscious programming that you run throughout the day of your life, and then you restore that. We talked about that cognitive calisthenics that we have to play when you're consolidating your memory from that day, right? Now, in recovery, physical recovery, you're conscious now. So you have unconscious or subconscious healing or recovery in sleep, and then you have conscious recovery while you're awake. Well, some of us are conscious. Some of us are just walking through life, humdrum, head down to the phone, and we're not conscious. We're running on a subconscious program. Dive deep into Vitality Handbook, so watch out for that. We'll talk about a little bit of that when we talk about sleep. But that physical recovery is a conscious type of recovery that you want to take him. So massages, stretching, just relaxation, meditation. All these things will help in the physical realm while you're conscious. And lastly, this is where most people start their journey. And if you're starting your journey here with this asset, which is exercise, that's our fifth one, totally fine. But there is a hierarchy of, I would say a hierarchy of orders of operations that you want to kind of stick to. Okay, so if you come in from exercise, this is a great asset. We know all the benefits. You don't have to listen to this content to know the benefits of exercise just physically on a physical realm, but there's more dimensions to exercise than meets the eye. But exercise is going to be a big asset. So we're looking at your portfolio. So you have exercise as an asset. What are you feeding exercise? What is the return on your investment? Or do you have a personal trainer? Do you have a climbing coach? All right, Katie's going to come out with some great content, great climbs. I love that. Check that out on the Transformational Journey. Do you have a boxing coach? These are all coaches that can help you and are looked at as assets for the physical recovery. Do you have a massage therapist? Do you have a spa that you go to? Do you have a nail salon that you go to that's going to help you in that physical recovery aspect? Don't sleep on the nail salons, okay? All right, just being there, having someone work on your hands and feet, those are the two most important things as a human being. Make sure you strengthen your hands and feet. We'll talk about that a little bit later on the Vitality Handbook when we talk about exercise. Then going into nutrition. What are the assets for that? Do you have a, a nutritional advisor? Do you have someone that can help you program nutrition throughout the times when you are in an SOS situation, when your back is against the wall, you really don't have any time to think or let alone cook or prepare your meals? Is someone there guiding you around that process so you can stay on track and stay with your goals? Then we go to sleep and mindset. Now, we already talked about that a little bit. What are your sleep assets? What are the assets that you can look at for sleep? So learning how you sleep, learning why you sleep, learning the smells that you have or the type of lights that are interrupting your sleep. So making sure you have more knowledge on what's going to help you on that sleep hygiene asset. And then lastly, and my favorite, I know we have so many talks on that, please look at the content on mindset. What are the assets you have in your mindset, right? Do you have a psychologist? Do you have a psychiatrist? Do you have someone to talk to? Do you have a family? Do you have a group that you have every week that you guys can conversate with and have higher learning or higher elevated conversation to spike your interest outside of that humdrum world of just day by day going? So, to summarize, we really want to promote the advisorment of vitality and wellness here at PVS. And the main thing we want you to focus on is, what is your portfolio for wellness? What is your portfolio? What is your investment? What are your assets to stay optimized through vitality? If you cannot say you have that, then it's going to be difficult for you to generate generational health. Same way you won't look at, oh, I don't have any assets in my financial portfolio. Well, how can you generate generational wealth? That's the main thing here. How can we generate generational wealth and generational health, moreover, when we're talking about optimizing your vitality? Let's look at that portfolio of wellness. As always, please like, share, subscribe. My name is Yao A. Owusu Jr., your resident vitality advisor. Let's get into it.